they had been given this type of environment to thrive in, it may not be so bad. Like
Absolutely.
their everyday existence may not be so bad, but because, like Kendra said, a lot of people are stuck in tradition and how things were always done,
Yep.
then it creates like this resentment of like, this cannot be my life. I can't do this
I
anymore.
want you to breathe. I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe.
Hello, friends. We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandrin.
What up, what up? It is Deja. How y'all doing?
Hello. Welcome. If you've never been here before, we do a cross-section of pop culture in real life. And we're here multiple times a week. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and drop down and subscribe to our channel. Deja has our topic for today.
As I'm over here trying to get this hair together, Lord.
Okay.
Okay, better.
Right.
I look a little tousled, but that's all right. Okay, so we've been having a conversation around millennials and purpose anxiety. That conversation went up on the 10th of February. So if you are lost in the sauce and you're just seeing this one, we'll make sure to tag it in this conversation. You can watch either one however you see fit.
Mhm.
But I have been coming across a couple of different clips over the last couple of weeks, and I'll try to put all of them in this conversation since they're pretty short. But I thought that these would add value to the conversation that we're having.
Mhm.
So let's do it. Actually, before we do the more serious one, let me do the second one I already had queued up. All right, here we go.
Like, I don't want to do anything to make money. I don't want to.
I just find it so terrible that at the young age of 23, I'm ready to check out. Like, I don't want to do anything
Oh,
at all.
dream of labor.
My money's not mine. I don't want to go to school because I feel like I'm getting a degree for somebody else. Like, I don't want to do anything. And I feel like that's so sad.
Having my major meltdown and realizing I'm never going to escape capitalism. And I'm just going to be a cog in the machine of productivity for my whole life. So.
You know that numb feeling?
Millennials?
So this clip is a collage of a couple of different people. So you have
Okay.
some people that are our age, and then you have the Gen Zers in here too. But like
Okay.
the conversation is still the same.
The specific "I want to escape capitalism" sounded very Gen Z, but go ahead.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, the sentiment is the same, but it was the wording. I was like, that sounds like a Gen Z in there. Go ahead.
Well, the 23-year-old definitely was Gen Z. So yeah.
Like you're kind of just going through emotions.
And pretending like this is just life. Like I was at work today and I said, I can't believe that our parents and our grandparents and everybody else before them worked
And go to
every
work
day of their fucking life.
for the rest of our
Same
lives.
fucking monotonous,
5 days
boring
a
ass
week
shit.
to
40
earn
plus hours a
2
week
weeks of
just to
vacation.
retire at the ripe age of what, 60, 65, 70, where they literally can't enjoy the money that they have made.
Quitting and that this generation doesn't want to work. The reality is many of us that are in my age or a little older, a little younger, are working jobs that do not care about us as people. And I'm going to say that again because I think that's a very, very important distinction that a lot of people are forgetting. I am not going to fucking kill myself over a job that doesn't care about me as a human being. I am not going to put in a 60-hour work week and pull myself up by my bootstraps for a job that does not care about me as a person.
Pushed to their limit. Like, people are exhausted. If you work a regular job, even if you don't work a regular job, the constant stress of having to worry about how to make ends meet.
Y'all, I've had a series of fucking panic attacks at fucking work today. Like, we are not supposed to live like this, y'all.
I go to work so that I can afford my house and my car, and I have to have my car so I can go to work. And we all live so isolated from each other. So instead of like sharing resources, like sharing a car so you can get to work, so that everybody doesn't have to have their own fucking car that drives to the same place every day and then sits in a parking lot all day.
We do not want to spend any more of our time selling stuff to people. We want to spend our time on something that feels good for the collective. I want to help people.
What's wrong with capitalism? The first question. Well, on one level, and this may strike you as a bit contradictory, nothing's wrong with it. And what do I mean? I mean that it's working the way it always has. It is pursuing profits. The people who own and operate the businesses of the United States The factories, the offices, the stores are looking to make a buck. They're doing business the way they always have.
That's it.
So the end of this says, is this really how we're supposed to be living? And I just was like, damn, like so many people are having this like realization. I feel like it started in 2020 when everybody got sent home, and it started probably a long time ago, but in terms of us having a collective conscious conversation around it, I feel like that started in 2020 because everybody was experiencing the same thing. Let's
totally
go
agree.
to the next one while you put your thought or you speak your thoughts.
I was just gonna say I agree that my thing is I don't dream of labor. I want to have a nice life and be comfortable and not have to have a dream job or be working towards something. But I think I don't know. I have a mixed
expectation for so long
opinion because I think some of this is like, I wonder if some of this is because we see people living life online as their job and we want that. Like, I hate to bring up the K people, I don't really fool with them. But like the advent of the Kardashians, for instance, showing us like you can just live your life on camera and that's a job. And not to say that it's not hard work. I think it is. But like when you see influencers and they're just living their best life, going to events, and you're just like, I'm here toiling away at this job that I hate. I think that has been the normal for so like that toiling away at the job was the normal for so long that like our parents that was just what people did and they didn't see other options. And I think some of this is the internet showing us like people are living differently and we want our share of that too. But unfortunately the world goes around for the people who go to work. Like that's what it sends the world around. And it, I'm not saying if we all were like influencers or whatever, or if none of us were working, then be a lot different.
I feel like I think the caveat is that people need to find their versions of these extravagant lives. And not so much strive to be exactly that, because now everybody wants to be an influencer of some sort. I mean, look at us. We're not necessarily vying for influencer status, but I wouldn't be mad if that's what we got. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we're all looking for I'm looking for a level of freedom, more so like freedom about my time, more so than
that's literally what I was gonna say.
Influencer life or whatever.
But the thing that I find the most interesting is that so eventually I will get into a space where I am working with and coaching influencer girlies. And more so, I'm more about the personal like development and belief in self and like how you feel, how you see yourself in the world type of energy. That's the type of coaching I want to do. But I say that because I'm looking at them and they're talking about like how they're feeling burnt out and they're feeling like constantly on edge because they have to produce these things that are about their lives. And sometimes they just doing regular stuff like the rest of us. So they don't really have things that would be worth, making a vlog about or having a conversation around or whatever 100%. The case may be, because they are still regular people that just happen to blow up on the internet.
Yeah.
So if you girlies ever see me, come talk to me, girl. I got you. We'll have a nice little conversation, rearrange some things and set some boundaries for you. Help you to set your own boundaries, because that's not what I do. But yeah, like I think a lot of it is just everybody is wanting something different, but don't necessarily know how to get that different and what that different is. And right now, the only perspective we have of that is like the influencer's lifestyle. And so everyone is trying to chase after that in their own little way. And I think that that's not necessarily problematic to do it in your own way, but it's like you can't carbon copy someone else's magic. Like you have to literally figure the shit out on your own and find the best way to live at a place that is best for you and not be so wrapped up in the capitalism of it all, where you're constantly buying into a lot of things. Like we're constantly being sold things here in America. The other thing that stands out to me too is that you have people who have become like some sort of major influencer or like done something major enough that they have a decent amount of affluence, and they leave the US to go live in other countries and have a much smaller lifestyle because everything here is so big and grand and crazy. And
I want to plug
it's
something.
magical.
This might sound weird, but follow me. JT did an episode of Angie Martinez's show by herself, and she talks about this very, very clearly. It's toward the end. If I can find a timestamp, I will. It was actually a really good interview, but she talks about how, you know, everybody just wants more and more and more. And obviously she's a star, and she's just like, you know, like she says this part where she's like, everything is moving so fast. Everything is moving, always moving. And she's just like, you know, if I'm on the Shade Room, like I want my 24 hours on the Shade Room. Don't blow up my life for 2 hours on the Shade. I want my 24 hours. Like, give me my 24 hours, you know? And she's like, and it's forcing us into this cycle of always doing more and always like wanting more, because by the time you have done, like by the time you have accomplished this one thing or gotten or obtained this one thing, it's already on to the next. Like that's already old from 2 hours ago. She talks about it super clearly. If you know, listen, I'm City Girls. I've been City Girls since our previous platform, which was years and years ago. So anyways, go watch that interview. It was actually very, very good. I will leave the links down below.
All right, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and play the next clip, and then we'll wrap up this conversation.
Okay.
Millennials have a low tolerance for inefficiency. Thank God. So when you're like, please put that in triplicate, file it in 2 places.
My God, today.
And then can you scan it and send me a picture? Millennials are like, you're holding an iPhone. No. I'm not doing any of that. Like, take your own phone out, take a picture of the document, file it in your own place. I wanted to go have impact in the world. And we're like, they just need to pay their dues. They aren't willing to encourage you to stay dinosaur in your approach. And that's why if people have control issues, if they're command and control, they get nervous. Where are these people? Their butts aren't in the chair. How can they be working? My team can work from wherever they want. Don't miss deadlines. Be where you're needed when you're needed. And what I would tell you is that when I've done this, I lead less in my company. My strategic plans now, my people, it's like Shark Tank. They bring me their ideas. I sit back. I haven't thought of a single one. I shouldn't. I'm old. And they bring me their ideas. They pitch them. Their bonus is a percentage of what ideas I accept.
I love that.
Legal team, someone from my accounting team, some of my board members that are innovative. And we see the pitch. They came to me one day, 3 years ago. So I give everything you do away for free. We're going to film everything. We're going to podcast everything. That's your business plan. We stop charging for things. They're like, yeah, we're going to put it out on social media like Gary Vaynerchuk does. It's going to triple your business. Now, if that were left to me, I'd be like, that's ridiculous. They're like, no, Garth Brooks gives all of his songs away and everybody wants to see him in concert. I'm like, this is a stunningly ridiculous proposal. And I got outvoted and we did that and it's tripled our business.
I love this for so many reasons. This is the biggest issue I have with my job. It is so inefficient. We write the same thing in the same 3 places, and it's just like cut, paste, cut, paste, cut. Like this has got to be, there's got to be a way of streamlining. And also, I want to point out this for people who are employing other humans. Okay. You need to like figure out what their backgrounds are and give them an opportunity to thrive outside of the monkey work that they're doing on a second by second basis. Okay.
Talk about it.
Because like this lady said, I literally, it was funny because I'm without getting too granular into detail, like my friends and we have pretty much figured out how to make our department run more efficiently. But ain't nobody asked us for anything. And they're committed to doing things a certain way. And we're like,
that's the way it's
my knowledge
done.
Right. But also like I worked retail. So like there is a clear example. And this is like one of those, what do you call it? Like cross-functional or what's the word? like transferable skills. That's what I'm thinking of. And actually, I was writing about this in my morning pages this morning. But one of my transferable skills is like I came from retail. So there's a very clear solution from retail that solves an annual problem that we have. It is so clear to me because I worked retail, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody's thinking about it. If I was to suggest it, it would be like, okay, let's set up a working group. No, it's a simple solution. Why do we need a working group for that? Or like some of us are, you know, lawyers, some of us who have practiced before. I did not practice, but some of my friends have. And it's just like, there's a very clear solution to some of the bottlenecks and things that we have at work. That solution comes from the world of working at a law firm. It doesn't come from where our managers came from at the top. It comes from other areas. And if you give people an opportunity to have a meaningful impact and a meaningful suggestion where it's not going to be get bogged down in like bureaucracy, you may actually get more than you actually bargained for, other than just a cog in your wheel.
You'll also retain your employment.
You'll also retain your employees, because the other thing is like you're retaining some people, but some people don't want to be retained. It's like
not in the same boring, monotonous day-to-day foolishness.
Yeah, like some people, they may not move on, but it might be because there aren't options, but it's more so that than because they're so happy to be there. Like you could have happy, healthy employees that want to be in your organization if you just give them a chance to thrive. And I think that's what the clip was getting at, is like we're looking for opportunities to make an impact, even in our organizations, even where we're sitting. We have answers, we have options, we have things that share, but nobody gives a shit.
Nobody gives a shit.
That
nobody
is frustrating.
Asks. And then
nobody asks.
Like I feel like too, so playing this behind the first clip, it was just kind of like if the people that were speaking on the other one, if they had been given this type of environment to thrive in, it may not be so bad. You know,
absolutely.
Like their everyday existence may not be so bad, but because like Kendra said, a lot of people are stuck in tradition and how things were always done. Yep. Then it creates like this resentment of like, this cannot be my life. I can't do this every day.
That's how I feel. Like I actually like the meat of my job. I actually very much like it. Fits my personality well. I'm interested in it. It's all the other BS that I have to do. It's all of the other like minutia that I have to do that makes my job absolutely awful for me.
That's why I left mine. I love my people that I worked with. Some of them, let me correct my language. I love some of the people that I worked with, but like once all the things that I used to do that I loved about my job didn't exist anymore, and all those things were taken away, and then on top of that, I was working with people that I just did not, we just didn't mesh. Like, girl, I got to get the hell out of here. Anyway, so the second clip comes from the Game Changing Attorney podcast with Michael Mogill.
What's an attorney?
I'm not sure what her name is, the guest that was speaking. But I just wanted to shout that out because the previous clip was an amalgamation of a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Hopefully I used that word correctly.
You did.
Anyway, like, have a little bit of alcohol and no food. But yeah, I thought that that's what we're doing next. I thought that these two clips kind of fit together and also like were a good like side pocket to our millennials and purpose anxiety, because that first clip spoke so clearly to like people just out here living and don't have, they just going with the flow because of that's how things have always been done. And to be in a place where you're seeing other ways, like we've said before in other conversations, there's so many ways to make money online, and I'm learning that. I'm in the process of doing that stuff now. It's difficult to be the odd man out, to be the oddity of your community. And so the biggest takeaway that I have is that for the people who were speaking, both Gen Z and millennials, about like the frustration, the wall that they've hit essentially, we need more community for us to come together and be like, okay, that is just your 9 to 5, your A to B to, you know, so that you can eat. But let's figure out whatever other things it is that you enjoy that we can put into your life that
Yeah.
would get you to where it is that you want to be. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to jump from the 9 to 5, the monotony, to like living this grandiose life, but it could
Mhm.
very well be that you do the thing that you need to so that you can survive and be comfortable to a degree, and then slowly start walking towards the things that you actually want, you know?
Mhm. Absolutely.
I feel like community is a huge thing that a lot of us are lacking. And to the point of one of the other speakers on that clip, the first one, um, everybody's so separated. So there is no conversation around, you know, the different jobs that people have and like the different ways that people have made money and like how people afford things. Like this is a random one-off, but there was a girl who had shared on TikTok, like she was 25 and she has like this beautiful, like illustrious high-rise apartment that overlooks like the highway up in the DMV, and she pays like $2,500 a month. And so like I had just put in the comments like, this apartment is super cute, but like the better question is, girl, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, and not to be nosy, but it was like, there are young people out here that are doing these great things that there's no community for. People have no idea that these are jobs and possibilities that you could have. So you're on this huge platform where you're sharing this aspect of your life. I don't see the issue in people asking like, oh, you know, what do you do? What I love now is that I'm starting to see more people talking about these things like, oh, I do this and this is what I make and this is what the range is per se. Or if they don't even tell you what exactly they make, they give you the range of like, this is where you should look to be in this particular role, and these are the steps that I took to get there.
Yeah.
That to me is community. That's not problematic. I think people
Yeah.
get lost in like, because someone made a comment under mine like, well, I think you should mind your own business, and then I was just like,
That was
you know
much.
what?
But
Like,
also like
get
there are
out of here.
people living offline also that are like living in lovely lives. And I think, like you said,
Agreed.
that being able to ask the question of like, well, hey, what are you doing? Like I actually have somebody in my life where I'm just like, I actually low-key interned for her.
Mhm.
And this was like last year or like a year ago. And I'm like, I don't need to intern for anybody, but I did intern for her because I wanted to know what she was doing. And
Mhm.
I was able to like figure out, I wouldn't do things maybe exactly how she was doing, but I was curious. So I wanted to know. So I was like, hey, I'll do some work for you for free. Like I'll help you out. And I did for a while. And yeah, like I said, I learned a lot that I can like use and put into practice in other areas of my life or other areas of my business or even what we're doing together. It's like just asking the question and like coming from a place of good genuine
Curiosity, not
curiosity,
like,
and like even
yeah.
offering to help people a little bit on the free side. I know like the girls don't do free anymore and I don't blame them, but like sometimes it's worth it to just learn something new
Hello?
that you can apply to your life. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
and not
Thank
saying
you.
like you work, you know, you take these internships from these big corporations for free, because no. I'm
No.
talking about somebody who is in your life, who may not be online, who you're very curious about what they're doing and how they're doing it. Ask them if you can come work for them for a few hours and try to figure it out and be like, okay, like this is interesting. I want to pursue this more, or I don't want to pursue this more. But like, that's how you really learn stuff.
I agree. I think the biggest takeaway that I've said it a couple of times in the last few minutes is like, we need more community. Like this
Absolutely.
constant separation of, you don't talk about how much you make and you don't talk about, you know, like money and all these things across. I think those are like psychological constructs to keep people separated. You know what I'm saying? Like if we had more conversation around just openness and curiosity, which is the purpose of our podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think our world would be very different in terms of like the US alone. I think we'd be very different because a lot of the TikTokers that I follow that are from Africa and the different countries there, they have said that like the thing that they notice when they come here from, you know, their homeland is that like this is so individual. Like there's no community. They're not outside of their own people, and like, or people that are from, you know, similar backgrounds. You don't get that here. There are similarities to some degree, but a lot of it is very separate. And I hope to be a part of the change of that dynamic as far as American culture is concerned, and like creating community, that accepts everybody and your curiosity, and not always wanting to be on the defense about certain things. Like some things are personal to you, but like work and like experience and things that might help to change people or open up a mindset, I don't see the problem. So
sharing,
yeah,
I agree. All right, well, drop down in the comments, let us know what you guys think. Are you still experiencing any anxiety, any millennial anxiety if you're a millennial? If not, tell us what you have. Yeah, tell us if you have any career anxiety. Are you frustrated at work like I am? And tell us why, so we can come up here and talk some more about this purpose anxiety.
Keeping the conversation going and creating the community that I really want to see. So
100%. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.